my and stuff, so, right, and then you can mute there,
Yeah, mute to resume,
Where's that?
right there.
right there.
minutes to look at those.
This is
Look how busy.
the girls at chapel today. They asked
Oh, this-
the new youth minister, her name's Taylor. They asked her to take a picture of them all three together. This is Meredith Castor and
Yeah.
Ryan Victor's daughters.
Hey, geez.
Are live?
All right, there.
Yep, okay.
Hello, everyone. It's 2:01, call the meeting of the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. It's now in session. First thing on the agenda is citizens' comments and reports. We have some citizens with us today and an employee. If anybody would like to address the committee at this time, please.
So it's like a semi-public comment slash last minute idea, but Ken Yarbrough, our youth program coordinator of 13 plus years.
Yeah.
It's his last day today. He is retiring. So I encouraged him to come and just say farewell.
Like 2 hours and 29 minutes, literally. I just want to say thanks. It's been an incredible opportunity to be here with most of you I've worked with. And I'm taking so much with me, but the love and admiration that I have for this community won't stop just because I'm not here. It'll continue on, and I just want to say thank you for these past 13 plus years. It's been amazing, and I just feel like that the thumbprint that we leave is so important. And I hope that that's what people say, when I'm gone, is that he left a good impression, and he changed attitudes and hearts, and that's all anybody can ask for. So just want to say thank you. I can't even look at you.
I've already cried twice about this, so I'm trying to keep it together.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's registering, but it's good. It's good. I've got 2 grandbabies that I can't wait to play with and spend more time with and grow up in their lives and be as important in their lives as I am in all of the children and the other people here. And but thank you. And I will see you around. Like I told everybody in my drumming classes, it's not goodbye. It's just different. I'll be around. You'll be around. We've got email, we've got text and Facebook and every other way to communicate. Plus, I'll still be here like a bad penny. So stop. You can't. Thank you very much.
John will make you cry.
I just wanted to, I didn't get a chance on Sunday to let you know and everybody know, when I moved here in 2014, I had background in childcare and I was looking for a way to get involved in the community. And I heard about this Camp Marlin after school program. And I went there and Ken embraced me. You let me absorb me into your program. You gave me every opportunity to be with you and with those kids, which is something I dearly love. I got involved in the theater because of you and Ray. Every time we turned around, it seemed like you were giving me another chance. We did retreats together. I would not be as ingrained in this community. I wouldn't be sitting here right now if it weren't for you, Ken.
Oh, thank
So
you.
thank you very much. I think you personify the word service in the community because you serve all of us so well and faithfully. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Thank you. Anyway,
Can I say something?
Of course, yeah.
And I just want to take, you worked with my children for a short amount of time, and when I told Maggie that you weren't, she didn't understand.
right.
But I said, he's got it, you just made such an impression on so many, like literally now generations of children in Port Aransas, and the ripple effect will go on for a long time. And my mom loved you. She
I
really
love
did.
her too. Yeah, absolutely.
My mom loved you.
Yeah. Not, I mean, there's a lot of good people, but there's some that, she was one of them.
She didn't like a lot of theater people except.
Ah.
She was a theater person.
Yep. That was the drama that she could do without.
So.
Anyway,
So
thank you.
on behalf of all my family, thank you.
Thank you very much. Absolutely. All right.
He built a program that will continue on strongly in the footprint that he left. It will never fill his shoes, but the lessons that we learned, the emotional growth that we had through working together and the program that you built and the way you dealt with staff, just couldn't be more grateful than I am. And it's going to shape what's to come, which what perfect segue into what
Well,
we're
that's
talking about today.
That's what's so exciting is looking from the outside in, you know, there's so much happening, and quite honestly, there's not a better time for someone like me to step out so that things can be shaped and they can be, because it's time. There's a natural evolution to everything. And it's time that I go and evolve and do my next thing. And it's time that Port A evolve into what it's next too. So nothing but good stuff, nothing but good stuff. So.
I didn't set an alarm, but we're probably over our 3-minute time limit.
Well, I'm sure we are, but thank you.
Jen.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you. Thank you, Greg.
Any other citizen comments, please?
Well, I'm actually state, if you don't mind, just a quick introduction.
Yeah, come on up and let us know who you are.
Got a 400% increase in public comment.
Thank you. I was out in the area today. I'm actually going to be heading over to Horace Caldwell Pier for a quick review of it. But my name is MK Walling, and for those of you who do not know me, I work with State Senator Adam Hinojosa's office. So I wanted to come by and make sure you have my direct contact information. We oversee 8 counties along the coastal bend, and congratulations, Port Aransas. This is a beautiful community, and we're very proud of you, proud that you're in our district, proud to service you. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I've left my information over here, so she's got it. But if you ever have a question, or you have a constituent, or you have a concern, we're here for you. We thank you. And what an inspirational day today that I get to be here to witness this. And again, this just shows the great camaraderie that you have in your community. And on a side note, I am also, and for many years have served on the Nueces County Coastal Parks Board as a commissioner.
Oh, I
So
love Scott.
this is very special to me out here, Port Aransas, all along the coastal bend, and we're very proud of all that you're doing. So we're here. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out, and thank you all for what you're doing. Keep up the great work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers to you all.
We're just not used to seeing people in the audience. But I asked Nikki to come today when we get into the discussion of the rec center. She has experience with contract instruction and health and wellness and the catch program at the school. And so I thought she would be a great person to have if conversations come up about our programming in the rec center. And then Ray is our nature preserve manager, if you weren't aware, and she's going to be officed in the admin suite in the rec center, and also something to keep in mind because not only is this a recreation center for health and wellness, but it will also be the hub for visitors to our nature preserves as well. So it's great to have her in the room also. And Christy is going to be running it all. Okay. I'll give it back to you, John. Sorry.
No problem. All right, next on the agenda is the director's report.
Okay. I'm gonna be reading through this probably like you are. I did write it, but with the help of department directors, and I've been in meetings all day, so excuse me for going slow. Just an update on all our capital project progress for the year. Everything is on track. I just came from the rec center, and the structural steel is being put up, walls are being put up, the gymnasium tilt wall construction has been in. We're working on finalizing a wetland permit for the southern portion of the site, so the parking lot will expand. Another driveway will go in as soon as that permitting is finalized, which I think we are approaching the end of that very long process. So when they start to work on the southern portion of the site, we'll be redirected and go through the official driveway to the north that's been poured. Maintenance crews or construction crews have been using it as their driveway. We'll flip flop and the public will come through that side while they work on the southern side. So services should not be impacted.
That's a question around that,
Mhm.
around the rain, since we haven't had any. We had that one.
So, and there is some weather slated to come. There
was any
it
feedback.
was basically discovered that the ditch is not draining to the street, and so that is going to be regraded soon. The engineer just shot elevations and it was discussed today.
Okay, all right. awesome.
Yeah. Our recreational trails grants, we can get into that in the nature preserve, but it's in progress. Engineering is underway. Grounds crew maintenance facility, we've had discussions about the location of it at the community park. It was originally supposed to replace the kind of shanty town that we have out there. Probably should call it something else, but that's what it reminds me of. Where they are stationed currently is at the corner of Avenue C and Cutoff Road. They're paired with the gas department in two modular buildings that they're renting. Gas is going to move into their brand new facility, and then grounds kind of likes where they're at because it's central. It's easy to get to Roberts Point Park, Community Park, everywhere else they have to maintain across the ferry. So we're kind of eyeing that location as a better potential maintenance operations headquarters for them. Nothing official has been decided, but that was the latest kind of in conversation. Shade at the pool was budgeted, but we're waiting for the rec center shade to go in.
Is there gonna be anything for summer? Not really.
No, we'll have to do pop-ups.
Okay.
Yeah. Purchasing for the preserve, the, I don't know. We'll wait for the nature preserve for that section. Beach, they are geared up and ready for spring break. They've got 13 guards returning from last season to staff spring break, and then they'll do 2 rookie schools before the official season starts to onboard the rest of the team. But we're feeling confident about spring break. Those are good numbers for us. Grants, restore grant any day. We're gonna get a contract. I can feel it. It's been 4 years. Boating access grants, engineering is underway with Stan Tech. Permitting will start. TPWD grant, we already touched upon. Engineering is underway. And that's kind of what's going on with all the capital stuff. Breaking down by department. Roberts Point Park, we had the playground resurfaced. That's a maintenance thing. Every year they reseal the rubber so that it is kind of glued down again. It brightens it up. You might notice that there's some discoloration happening with the slides. I am in talks with the manufacturers on how to remedy it. We did not expect to see fading like that so soon. And so they're testing the plastic to see if there was an issue with how it was mixed or manufactured. And they are telling me they're going to stand behind their product. So at this time, there's no structural concern. It's only aesthetics. But they understand that it's faded too fast, and so they're working on a solution. We're still watering with well water via truck. Some of the palm trees are not faring super well, and so we're going to have to decide. When folks sponsored a tree, we said we would replace them up to 5 years after the tree was put in. So we are obligated and we want to replace them. I just haven't figured out the logistics. There's probably one out there right now that needs to be replaced. community park, we have the rec center, we have our pump track, the cracking in the pickleball. I think I addressed this at the last meeting. Once the groundwork is done at the rec center, then we'll patch and repair and repaint the cracks that are showing up in the pickleball court, but we feel like it could be related, so we're gonna not repair it until all the groundwork is done. We found termites in the restroom, that's been treated and repaired. The wells that we put in for the baseball irrigation are struggling to provide enough pressure for the system out there. The irrigation system is so large that those wells are not producing enough water. And so we either need to get a storage tank to pump from or try to put in additional wells. And so that is on my to-do list, but I haven't figured out the exact solution on that yet.
I think a storage tank might be better.
Yeah.
There's so many people putting in wells, that aquifer is not. I don't know whether additional wells and expenses, what's the,
Yeah.
Is it true that the dog park water was, all water was taken out? You know anything about any developments on that? Cause I get asked every day.
Well, I put up a new sign. There's new signage over there that explains it, but yes, that water line was an irrigation line. And so now that the irrigation has been transferred over to wells, it was well water. And so that's when we took the fountains out. We relocated one of the fountains just across the driveway. If you look towards the pool and head that way,
That's
the
what
dog
people
water
are
fountain's
wondering.
there. So you can bring your own bowl, you can fill it up there, you can visit before or after you're in the park. But we're encouraging people not to leave buckets or bowls or pools of water there because it's not hygienic to have it sitting out and sharing between households and things like that. So it is slightly less convenient to not have one in there, but I don't have a way to get potable water to that location at this time. So it's 150 feet away. I measured it from the entrance to the dog water fountain across the driveway. So that's my solution for now.
So so there's not one planned in the future? What about when they do the site work on the south driveway? Wouldn't that be a perfect time to?
We
Timeline?
could look at that, yeah. All right. Noted. The concession stands, we added a first aid kit service here at City Hall. There's a big Cinta's first aid kit that gets continuously restocked monthly. They come out and fill it. And so we did the same thing at McDonald Field and the baseball field so that there's never a shortage of first aid supplies available. That doesn't mean folks should restock their medicine cabinets at home with it. We just did smaller ones that are like first aid bandages and ice packs and things like that. This one here is like it has medication in it. But that way it kind of covers Little League or pickleball or whoever's out at the concession stand locations so that there's always first aid. And that's also where we keep the AEDs.
is it? I've had people ask about lights for the pickleball courts. We don't have.
We could put it in a budget request. So
Sure.
when we're gearing up for the summer budget workshop, that's a good place to put something like that in. The lights that are out at the park right now are under AEP. They control them, they service them. So I haven't requested new poles ever. I've requested new lights on poles, but I can get I can ask for how that process takes place to request from AEP, or we could look at solar lights, or they make solar park lights. But we could look at lighting the pickleball, and there's also been a lot of requests for lighting the skate park. So we could combine those two things.
Are they gonna add that extra chunk of concrete for the pump?
Eventually, I was looking at that today and wondering, like, they're doing us a favor, so I don't want to like ask them for a timeline, but I was curious. Pickleball and skate park. Okay.
when I was a pump there. The other day, there was a young boy, probably 8 or 9, on an electric scooter. And he was zooming across the parking area there and hit the cables that separate that go by the pickleball court and, I mean, that go.
I know where you're talking about, yeah.
And,
Not on a sidewalk, just through the grass.
just through and hit that cable. I know that scooter, the handlebars came up and hit him hard in the chest, but couldn't get him to stop. He just ran around holding his chest for a while. Then got on a scooter and took off. I don't know what, that's 8 or 9-year-olds with electric scooters that are going as fast as those things go.
Some of
It's
them
a
going
whole
30
city,
miles
it's
an
a
hour.
whole city's.
Yeah,
competition.
it really is,
Control.
because, so for Little League, I'm on the board there, and that Little League is going to put up signs that ask people not to bring their dogs into the stand and ask people not to drive scooters or e-bikes through the park, because there is no boundary. Like, even at Trunk or Treat, there were kids on e-bikes on the lawn with all the other kids. And I don't have a specific ordinance that says don't ride your e-bike on the grass. But it is a safety concern for sure.
Just so you know, we're looking at the School Health Advisory Committee. You all know what that is. It's the SHAT committee. It's a state mandated committee that each school district has to form and have meetings and take minutes and suggest policy to the school board, and if adopted, it's almost legal, becomes legalese. So the superintendent asked our committee to look into that, and so I'm doing that. So it's good to know that the Little League is doing something, because I've talked to the police department and we're trying to figure out how we can maybe be more, not just something that the school does in terms of what kids can or cannot do on campus or even coming to school, but more of a citywide holistic approach to the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an issue that they don't really know what they're supposed to be doing, so they're doing everything.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely like a educational thing. We've had them in the nature preserve off trail more recently, and it's just like this newfound freedom. And if you think just back to bicycles, there's bike racks and nobody's riding their bike through crowds, and it's just like this strange new phenomenon that kids don't know how to act. I was wondering if we could do like a driver safety course, because I'm watching them in traffic and thinking they don't know whether they should be on the sidewalk or in with traffic, or it's brand new and they're just doing whatever. And it is scary.
Some of them act like they're motorcycles, and they take a full lane.
Some of them
Which is
are
great,
motorcycles
but
too,
that
is another thing, is there's kids on bikes that are technically vehicles. Like, they're not supposed to be under 16 on these things, some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them are like dirt bikes. I don't know. It's wild.
Yeah,
It does feel like the Wild West out there sometimes.
In the school zones, and when they're riding on each other's, there's 2 people to a bike, and I mean, it's a lot. There's a lot going on. There's not everyone's in helmets. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
Where was I? Okay. McDonald Fields, it's been serviced, ready for Little League. Community Center, just to talk landscaping a little bit, the final walkthrough for the renovations of that building is tomorrow. But the scope of the renovations did not include groundwork. And so our grounds crew is handling new drip irrigation in places. They took out the dolphin fountain in the center. We're looking at, there is a water line to that location, so we're gonna hook up a bubbler so that we can plant a big tree there. The dolphins are gonna be relocated just within the landscaping. They'll kind of be like a little statue, because there was some sentimental value to the dolphins there. There's some brickwork that needs to be done. The museum is helping with that. The foundations for the tarpon mosaic sculptures are in. Those should be coming soon. I'm trying to get a date from the artist for install there. But it's shaping up. The space is looking better and better.
Just tomorrow.
Mhm.
Does that mean it's open for tomorrow or
Assuming
if it's?
everything gets
successful?
approved, yes.
So are the bathrooms open too?
So the outdoor
Okay.
bathrooms are there, and I think we're only gonna open them when an event is going on. It'll be like at McDonald Fields.
It's not just.
They're not
open.
public restrooms. They're
Okay.
for
Or-
when we have activities going on. Otherwise, it's gonna,
But people living in there.
yeah, it's not like the fishing pier. There's always people using the fishing pier, so
Yeah.
the restrooms need to be available to them.
The parks.
Oh, yeah, you could argue it. Do you want them to be open all the
I
time?
mean. The restrooms are open at the other parks
Yeah,
and.
they could be closed at night. They could be closed and locked
I
down
mean, is it
at
ever
a
like
certain
within-
time every night.
Are Robert.
You have to rely on the police department to do that because of the hours. And then if they have a call or if something else is going on with the two officers that we have, it won't happen. And then that's when someone moves in.
Are they, and the nice thing about the ones like at the community park with by the ball field is that it's all concrete.
Yes.
Cinder block, it's hard to
Yes.
damage it. What I am.
So these are commercial public grade. They're tile floors, tile walls. There's paint, like the top 2 feet is painted to match the tile. Porcelain sink, porcelain toilet, mirror, lighting fixture. There's a ceiling fan in each one. They're not air conditioned spaces.
It's a lot nicer than the ones that both.
Yes.
I mean,
Thus far, we've only talked about them being utilized when the space is being utilized for fear of vandalism or unauthorized occupancy.
Skills.
And then especially like rolling into spring break, the
Yeah.
police are going to use the community center as their like break center. Because the civic center is not available, so there will be a huge police presence there through spring break. But if you, as a board, would like me to reconsider the availability of those restrooms during normal park hours, I don't know. It's different because there's not a playground there. There's not a athletic field there.
is there any like,
So
I don't know. It's just more of like, is this a green space to like? You know, when people, I mean, I guess if they're visiting I don't know.
There's so many, there's so many places that have restrooms in that block.
Yeah,
It's not like they're gonna have to travel very far, and I feel like. I think you may want to consider to keep it special events because. I think, most people are not there for like a whole day, it's the long period of time. They hang out, they have lunch, it's a great little spot. But when you have people playing, the bandstands, you'll want
Yeah.
it open,
Yes.
those kind of
Yes.
things.
like Christy's got
If you're serving
croquet
something
club
to
over
drink,
there. She can open
Yeah.
them up.
okay.
Okay. Oh, the pool. They are hiring for summer lifeguards. A lot of repairs have been done. I think almost everything that they're capable of doing right now has been repaired. There's a kiddie slide over there now. We're waiting for phase 2 of the rec center before we work on the equipment and the old building. The fencing gets tied into the rec center. I don't know why it says waiting on installation of the wheelchair lift. I don't know if they're waiting till after construction. I'll have to ask on that. That was an update that I didn't catch. Water features have been repaired. They're gearing up for, they're already planning their summer schedule and how they're going to handle swim team, water aerobics, lap swim, and camp, all wanting the morning session. So there may be some user groups that get moved in their schedules. That's all being weighed right now, so. One of those groups is not going to be happy. It's basically not everybody can have exactly what they
All those
want,
groups
so.
happened last year or the morning?
Yeah. I think camp got pushed to the lunch hour and that did not work well. So we're reevaluating to do better this year. Nature Preserve is next. We talked about the paddling access design and permitting is underway. The rec trails grants engineering is underway. CBBP funding was to create a plan for the property by the family center. So that is, the next phase is choosing an engineering firm. So we're gonna put out an RFQ to select an engineer to work on that.
What is that plan gonna entail? Is it like walkways?
Making a plan.
Yeah,
I
what-
think the idea is that it will work as a type of stormwater improvement plan. That's one of the boxes to check. Another would be wildlife viewing. And then a third non-nature preserve type function is that there's some upland property there that could be utilized for future development, maybe affordable housing or city infrastructure of some kind. But won't necessarily be designated solely as nature preserve because it is usable upland. So I think about 25% of the property. The restore grant for the nature preserve, different from the restore grant from the fishing piers, that's already underway. And I think Ray's still working on a lot of signage, educational signage. And she's saying late spring for install of that, but I know it is, there's a lot of it, so she's working hard on it. Karen and Tim Lammy were the park hosts that were here last winter. They returned again and have been super helpful. Whooping Crane Festival and watercolor programs and just entertaining all those winter Texans and visitors we get. Not entertaining, educating. Still working on the Charlie's pasture habitat restoration. Looking at some stuff to Charlie's pasture book.
What about on the bulkhead, sidewalk? Oh,
The dunes, you mean?
dune, it's almost you can get it up on top of.
I know. So we were told to hold off on spending resources scraping it off because it's just going to blow right back on. And EDSA is the landscape architect that is working on the plans for developing that whole area into a park. And they sent an initial rendering that was very green. And so in the drought conditions that we're in, it's not feasible to put in their initial plan. So this is a project David Parsons is working on. He's asked them to go back to the drawing board. I believe they had revisions coming soon. If he hasn't already met with them a second time, it was going to happen relatively quickly and that'll go to council. That's all I know at this point about it.
So this is tossed out the window. This is the green one,
It's still happening, but it's going to be
but it won't have that.
revised to be feasible in a drought. So it'll probably be more xeriscaping, hardscape, less cypress trees.
Something to keep the new dunes from forming up.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've, done this for a while now, so we know what native plants do well, like the example at Roberts Point Park where, we had volunteers put in all that native landscape and you establish it after a few years, you don't have to water it anymore. And that's where we're at there. So Nature preserve programming, we've got yoga and birding on the boardwalk, birding club. They've got a fun program coming up, spring migration with Sebastian, April 25th. He's a young guy that is got a great story on how he got into birding and a pretty special character. So if you have an opportunity to join that one, I would recommend it. They're doing the Nature Challenge the 24th through the 27th. If you're not familiar with that, they're trying to catalog as many plants and animals in Port Aransas wildlife as possible. It's done through the iNaturalist app. And so it's a lot of fun. You take pictures and you upload it. It's perfect for introducing kids to biodiversity. And I wrote my master's thesis on it and I like it. So if you haven't checked out iNaturalist, you should do it.
My dog answered.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then it also creates this amazing database of citizen science that we can look back at and reference, and I'm a fan. Great Texas Birding Classic, that will be our big sit event at the Birding Center. I guess we don't have a specific date for that yet, but somewhere in that week, we'll pick a full day to sit out at the Birding Center and see how many species we can count. And you all are welcome to come out and see what it's about. You don't have to sit there for the whole day, but come say hi and we'll tell you how many species we've counted so far and point some birds out. And it's a good event to come say hello to. And then Whooping Crane Festival, we made it through. They had their trade show here in the Civic Center. They paused construction to let them have their scaled down trade show, and weather was wonderful and cranes were seen and volunteers came out and worked all the spots and boat tours and van tours and all that stuff. It was all good. Moving on, I've touched upon surf rescue already a little bit, but they're gearing up for spring break. They're going to have 10 towers out on the beach. They'll be newly painted and they're each assigned a sea creature. So if somebody doesn't know how to read the letter or the number on it, they can say I'm at the black stingray tower or the turtle or whatever. So kind of fun, just bring a little pop of color to this space. And for the summer, they have 2 more towers that'll go up at markers 15 and 18. There's a gray one and a pink one coming. So the entire bollarded section of the beach will have a lifeguard tower every 3 mile markers. So that's kind of a good accomplishment that we're proud of. And their facility is actually being advertised right now. It's out for bids. So their new headquarters building that'll be in line with the new EMS and Public Works and fire station off 9th Street. We're starting that process. So another new facility coming our way. They're planning for their regional surf competition. If you haven't seen that out on the beach, it should be in June sometime. I don't see a date here, but I'll let you guys know about it. It's like the Olympics of lifeguarding and it's super fun to watch. So I'm trying to encourage a little bit more public spectacle at that event because I think it's a great recruitment event. It's exciting to watch it. You're watching these, young professionals at the peak of their athletic ability performing great feats. And so it's a lot of fun to cheer them on. And then youth programming. The big news is Ken is retiring. Big shoes to fill. We are advertising his position publicly. We did increase it in pay grade because once it's in the rec center, it will also be overseeing the child watch portion of the rec center. And so it'll be camps, after school care, and child watch responsibilities on this youth program manager. The title has changed. So that is advertised currently if you know anybody interested.
Is that going to be a full 3/4?
Full time. Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Is that gonna be enough to cover what Ken did?
Luckily, I don't have anything to do with the theater. So just keeping it at Marlin Academy, Camp Marlin, and adding the youth component. He'll have other the new manager role will have to have other positions added that will actually work child watch. They'll just be making sure
It's done.
all the standards are met, scheduling is met, all that stuff. All right, so Marlin Academy has 61 students enrolled. They've got clubs going on, birding club, what else? Magic the Gathering is a gaming club that has been popular, Arts and Crafts Club. And then they've got a new set of clubs rolling out for the spring. The program guide's included in this packet, so we can talk about that. Spring break camp registration is open March 9th through the 13th, 50 spots available and only 16 registered right now. So if you don't have spring break plans with your family, send them to camp.
I saw that they're summer,
Yes.
everyone gets to just enroll and like at the same time.
Let me make a
I
note
thought-
about
I
that.
saw it was April. I wrote it down.
9th?
Put it April 5th, April 5th, 5 AM.
I just
Great.
asked
Yeah,
Liz
saw
about
that.
this and it's not in my brain. I want to say it's the 9th.
April.
It might be in the program guide, actually.
I saw, it is in the program guide and it has all it, cause I saw them and I was like seeing which ones. April 9th, 5 AM. And that's for everybody.
Well, because the school used to get a jump, because the school used to get a.
No, they'll get handouts and stuff sent home to them before anybody else, but I'm in this predicament of if a grandkid is staying with their grandparent who works for the city or works for the school or lives in Port Aransas, they're going to use that Port A address. So I have no way to really separate out who can get let in, and we don't have anybody like who's a total out of town or just tourist wanting to come for the week displacing our locals. And so we have these like temporary locals, second homeowners or families that their kids come and stay because they need to stay with a grandparent because mom's working or whatever. So I'm having trouble drawing a line on who gets in and out.
Enrolled in school.
Enrolled in school,
Enrolled in.
I mean, we can't have the enrolled in school first and then. I mean, it just wasn't like. I mean, I'm gonna see the ones that I need to sign up for and wake up at 5 AM.
All right.
Cause last year, I mean, again, I didn't see the roster, but when I would drop the girls off. I would see a ton of people that I have never seen before.
See, I went through and looked at every single individual and they were either family members of an employee or a second homeowner. Like every single one had some kind of tie to the community.
I get that, but I feel like our kids that attend PISD should have a little couple day head start.
Yeah, let me see what I can do.
I mean, and I get that, people come visit Port A and they do stay extended amount of times, second homeowners, but again. I think that we owe it to the PISD kids. I mean, and let parent, I guess, maybe send out a thing.
Yeah,
Can
maybe
we-
we can do just a day early or
just
let me
have
let me
like-
see what I can do.
Tell everyone to set their. So that we.
I'm telling you, set your alarm right now for April 9th at 5
We
AM.
did, I know of 3 moms that tried to register pretty early that morning and it was already full.
Yeah,
It was I was talking 9:30.
yeah. Okay,
Okay,
noted.
okay. Oh,
Community program. Well, so I want to go back to summer for a second. So Port A ISD is changing their school year. They're adding 10 minutes to every day. They're starting later in August. And 4th of July this year fell on a weekend. So we got permission from city council to go 2 weeks longer in the end of the summer and run through 4th of July. We still are taking a week off at the beginning of the summer and a week off at the end of the summer because of logistics, we have to. But we are running 11 weeks of summer camp this year. So
Notice that.
we're gonna need, it costs, we are estimating $50,000 to $60,000 more. And we are, it's gonna be tough on staffing because of college schedules. So
Yes.
Gonna lose them at the end.
we're gonna lose them at the end, and there's also a requirement that a part-time employee not work more than 1,000 hours in a year. So that means we have to bring on seasonal summer workers only to carry the majority of the hours. And so that's gonna be a process this year, but we're going for it. We're gonna try it, and
Wow, that's.
we will never exceed our, standard of care ratios will have to be followed. So if for some reason staffing is not there, we'll have to look at that, but I don't anticipate that being an issue. We've got some good returners that are planning to just work summer, so it should work out. Just had to adjust a little. Okay, on to community programs. Holidays went on really well. 1,200 attendees to Santa in the park. We had our light show. We had our decorated Christmas trees. We decorated all the buildings. It was a fun and festive year. This upcoming holiday season is going to be fun to plan for because the community center will be back and available. It's an opportunity to maybe change what we've been doing the last few years. So if you have input or things that you'd like to see, let us know. New Year's Eve at Old Town Square. That's the second year we've done it there, and pretty fun to see that group shot. Polar Plunge was the next morning, over 150 participants, and they really got into it. They were in all kinds of funny outfits, and even the city manager got out there and jumped in the Gulf.
What, yeah, wasn't that called?
Yeah.
65.
Yeah, it
60.
was good. I didn't get in. I just arrived late and waved at people. Hobby Day at the Pavilion, Roberts Point Pavilion, was a huge turnout. Lots of happy shoppers did the citywide garage sale and Hobby Day. More than 1,400 people, it was the estimate. Good feedback from vendors. And then the winter activities have just been going nonstop: line dancing, drumming, crafting, gaming. Croquet Club was a new club this year that got rave reviews. Lots of people think it's super cute to see people playing croquet out there. It's just Christy doing another Old Town.
Old Town.
Yeah.
Put the bathrooms up.
Not yet. It's not even done being constructed. Break. All right. Upcoming events are listed there. We've got Sunset Sounds back at Roberts Point Park. Spring Extravaganza. The Easter Bunny will be out hopping around for families to enjoy. Family craft times. I've asked to scale back on spring programming a little bit because we have this rec center coming, and so we have a lot of planning to do, which you will hear about in a minute. And that's my report.
Awesome as always.
Thank you.
Be calling items for consideration, discuss and take action or pass any of the following. The first on that list is the meeting minutes for the December 10th meeting.
I make the motion.
Or make a motion. Grace made a motion to approve that. Second.
Second.
Amanda, second. All in favor? Aye. Aye, opposed? So it passes. All right.
Okay.
Have to make recommendations on staffing fees and programs for the new Robert E. Clark III Recreation Center.
You guys ready for this?
Ready?
Okay, so there is a presentation on the screen there. And I didn't rehearse it, so we'll just roll through it together. Do we have a clicker maybe?
Got it.
Oh, thank you. Ta-da.
You just tell me when to click and I'll click.
Okay. So the next slide has a bunch of text on it, but it basically is just an overview of the project. We've got a $24+ million facility going in, and it was on land that half of the sale proceeds were donated from the Clark family, hence the Robert E. Clark III naming rights. We're talking about approximately 35,000 square feet. Full-size gymnasium, fitness and activity rooms, indoor walking track, and community gathering spaces. Construction began in September, October, and is anticipated completion, says fall. I think we're looking at December. We've got Janak and Brinkley Sargent Wingington as our architects on the design team. Civil engineering is Urban or DCCM now, and the contractor is Fulton Coast Con. They have been phenomenal to work with so far. Very high standard of professionalism and very enjoyable. They're on top of everything. It's really nice. It's a relief. We have stakeholders that are welcome to weigh in as a part of our project and that we've consulted with throughout the planning process. This is taxpayer funded. And it's slated to bring in 15 to 20 new positions for staffing. And going back to the early 2000s is when the first rec center requests came about. And so, we're looking at 25 years of community demand and planning up to this point. So it's an exciting point to be at. This is an outside rendering. Most of that space, if you drive over to the community park right now, you can envision it. It's not white and blue yet. It's just framework, but it's there. So, pretty exciting. Oh, yeah, you can keep going. Here's our blueprint, which is very hard to read, but I did zoom in on future slides. That's just an overview of the total footprint adjacent to our existing water aquatics facility. And
All the room dimensions are set.
they're out there. Like you can walk them. The walls, the framing, it's there. So here's some things that I'd like to keep in mind today through our discussion. So we're covering youth programs, after school care and camps, adult fitness and enrichment programs, senior programs, low impact fitness or social gatherings. We have the capacity for open use, like in the gymnasium, the walking track. I've already been hounded, is maybe I could be more. Pickleball is really excited to be in the space. Special events, revenue, birthday parties, conferences, sporting events. And then, so things we might want to think about are populations to prioritize. Maybe it's the AISD enrollees, or maybe it's that you have a zip code here, or you think about who we're serving and who gets priority if there's conflict. Balancing programming needs versus open use. If we schedule every second of the day, that open use, diminishes. So balancing those two things. And then anything that we want to avoid or eliminate from the existing programming, that's something to talk about as well.
I think that's important when you're talking about that balance of, planned and programmed activities versus open gym, which I think, a lot of local community people, I think, are really looking forward to this. We have no gym right now, and myself included. I think, some parts of that rec center. It should almost be like zoned. In other words, some areas should be always open in my mind, And then some of the planned activities, they should occur in very specific areas, to where you're not taking over the entire facility every time there's an event or program going. That's kind of what I envisioned.
I can see what you're saying there. So I think to be more specific, like the exercise equipment space.
Right.
I don't see us offering much programming there. Maybe there's some personal training or instruction on how to use the equipment going on, but I wouldn't see us trying to host a class with people on treadmills or something like that. That's going to be, come and go open, use space. Where the balance needs to be dictated is the gym. So pickleball wants to be in there from, 8 a.m. to noon every single day. Do we allow that? Do we have open gym for youth basketball a certain hour? I mean, I think we're going to need to block times where there's an expected use, where the equipment is set up, right? There's volleyball standards, there's pickleball nets, there's stuff that it's not just as simple as going in and picking up a ball. And so thinking about how that looks would help me out, because I haven't done this before. And I think a lot of it also is going to need to be, we give it a try and then we realize the next quarter, well, that didn't work very well. And then we're going to adjust. So some of it will be trial and error, but I'd like to, have it set up as best we possibly can from the get-go. There's the group exercise room that I would anticipate programming that is going to be, dance or low impact aerobics, or so there's a lot of demand for those types of classes, whether it be yoga or kids martial arts, or I mean, it's all over the place. The amount of interest we've heard from instructors coming in and saying, we want to host this in your class, that list, I'm just keeping a tally and it's growing, which is amazing, because traditionally the bottleneck in that type of programming for us has been getting an instructor to commute in, and it hasn't worked very well. They'll do it for a little while and then it kind of fizzles. So to have local interest with things that they want to host, I think puts us in a much better position, and I'm excited to see that.
So,
But there's only so many hours in the day, especially after work hours or after school hours, it shrinks. So
It's only one of those rooms, the group exercise.
one group exercise room, and then there's the multi-purpose rooms that can be divided down. There's one multi-purpose room that can be divided into 3 spaces. That's where I'm anticipating youth programs hub being. So after school care, they will probably start there at least. The kitchen is there for snack. A room could be divided down for homework help. Maybe a club, like art club, could be in another one. So during that after school hour, I'm anticipating that mostly being occupied, but it could be freed up on a weekend for 3 different, fitness classes or, whatever.
it's like drawing doors.
Accordion style room dividers. Yeah. Big ones, like big panels.
And so if Marlin Academy is taking up all those youth rooms, there's really no other rooms to provide like a kids martial arts that's open.
It would have to be in the group exercise room at that hour, or one of the multi-purpose rooms. Like
But
right now we
but
call them
open-
clubs. So there's fishing, and I mean, that wouldn't be in a room, but art club is a good example, or theater club. They might need a space where they're meeting. So martial arts could be a club of Marlin Academy. Or it could be open to anybody, which our clubs are open to
Okay.
anybody, but yeah, we have to, those are the logistics we kind of have to dance with. So I included survey results from last January to kind of put a pulse on what the community wanted to see. I thought about we could put the survey back out to the public again, but I felt like it captured, I don't know how much results would change if we put it out again. So I didn't yet. If you want me to, I can. The majority of the respondents were full-time residents. Over half of them were full-time residents. And 10% of them were second homeowners, 20% were seasonal visitors. And then we broke it down into just occasional visits. So seasonal visits like is a winter Texan, and then occasional just vacationers. 10% were employed in Port Aransas. So I think that's an important demographic for us to keep in mind. They might not live here, but if they're coming after work or before work, they might be people who utilize and potentially a revenue source. And then 6.5% was neighboring community members. So maybe they're driving in from North Padre. So this was to break down what their house looked like, what their families looked like. So the blue is just an individual. They were filling out the survey on behalf of themselves. 40% it's a family, and then 37% was a couple. So just something to keep in mind. We had them rank the equipment offered on a level of importance to them. So blue is very important, orange is important, the gold is indifferent, green unimportant, purple very unimportant. So treadmills, very important, ellipticals, very important, recumbent bike, kind of important, spin stationary bike, kind of important, stair climber, kind of important, rowing machine, kind of important, and then everybody else was kind of indifferent on plyo boxes, sleds, battle ropes, rock wall, free weights, very important, power rack, pretty important, cable machines, pretty important, leg press, and circuit training, pretty important. So I do have a layout. I guess I stuck all the survey results together. I could have, a little bit later on, I'll show you the layout of the equipment that we have slated for the space. We've been working with a exercise equipment facility distributor, Marathon Fitness. They work with Precor machines. That's the brand that they sell, and we're talking about lease options. So we could swap out equipment after a certain amount of time if we see something's not being utilized, or somebody comes up with a request for some new innovative exercise equipment. We're not stuck with something forever, and then they help with maintenance as well. Am I approaching? I still got, are you hard out at 3?
I'm like in the next.
Okay, I'll keep rolling. So, gym activities. So this is talking about that shared open gym request. Basketball was the most important. Pickleball and open gym were also ranked kind of, I guess open gym was the most important. Pickleball ranked second, basketball ranked third, and then volleyball and special events kind of fell. I skipped something. Services at the front desk. So visitor information, outdoor equipment checkout, membership check-in, gift shop, concessions. Those are those top line items that got a lot of support. Everything else, a lot of those 1%ers were like comments people wrote in. And so clean restrooms, access to the pool, free activities for kids, all the programming that the GELM used to offer, which now the GELM is back. So I would love to see them offering those activities again.
So, I mean, I have a quick question before I go, because they want indoor pickleball too,
Mhm.
on top of the outdoor pickleball.
There are 2 courts right now in our lines. So you can only put so many lines on a gym floor before it looks like spaghetti.
Yeah.
We're approaching spaghetti.
Okay.
We have 2 half-court basketball courts, a full court basketball court, 2 volleyball courts, and 2 pickleball courts.
Okay.
So pickleball has come in and said, that's not enough pickleball. We want more pickleball. And I said, well, I can't divide the gym because there's a curtain divider. So you get a pickleball on each side of the divider.
And it's on top of the pickleball courts that already exist.
There's 5 existing outdoor ones. Wind does impact pickleball play. There are days where, you know, they'd prefer to be inside, but
But they have that outdoor basketball area too.
there's a
the
basketball
small
court outside.
Side as well, okay,
It's like a pickup court. It's not a full size.
okay, but still, it's. It would be, you know, I mean, when it was there, the basketball. Thing outside my window is played all the time, you know,
Yeah.
like there's people there all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's further away from your window now.
I mean, I wanted, oh. I have a featured basketball star in my family now. So I'm just, you know, but there's that outdoor, that's really just for basketball.
Yes.
That area. That's out.
Only basketball lines on the outdoor
So it
court.
kind of relieves some. You know, you can play, it's shaded, right? No, it's not shaded.
Got to go to the Episcopal Church for that.
I think, are they gonna open it up a little bit? Like, can you just go out there and play? Like,
At the church, I have no idea.
Okay.
I just saw the roofs going up. It
It's
looks really
nice.
cool. Yeah.
Okay, I gotta go. Thank you.
Okay. You can email me or
Yeah,
come visit anytime.
You
Email this to you. Yeah, I think it already is in your email. But we can resend it.
Recording of this.
Yes.
It's,
Yes.
sorry, I'm sorry.
The chick's stuck. Okay. I can't read that. What does the header of that say?
Facilities, like the pickleball courts.
Group exercise, gymnasium, cardio, indoor walking track. Those are the most important. The lounge.
Sorry, I'm lost in my,
Lounge, catering or teaching kitchen, those are the second, top.
I got it. Okay. Okay, so we asked what facilities were the most important and group exercise, the gymnasium and indoor cardio and indoor walking, connectivity to the aquatics facilities, those were the most important. Child watch, the lounge and catering kitchen were lower on the priority list, but still had a lot of people indicate that they were important. Okay. Gym activities, everyone thought all of these were important, but if you had to rank oh, we talked about this: open gym, pickleball, basketball, special events, volleyball.
When you say open gym, when they make that choice, is that saying that they can do any of those things, or what's the difference between that, like open gym where they come in and play basketball? What else would they be doing?
That's the answer.
I'm curious because I don't know.
Still
either.
work out with the machines.
So open gym is referring to the gymnasium space. And I don't know if that means if someone wants to play volleyball, they get out the standards and set it up and they get to play volleyball in that space, or if it only means the basketball goals are lowered because they raise up. And there's a basket of basketballs that kids just go and play basketball. I think at the school right now, open gym is basketball when they're
I
playing
believe
open
so.
gym. So I don't know if that was inferred by the people taking this survey or not, because that's what they're familiar with. Because the equipment will always be, you know, available for folks to use. This was specifically referring
Holly,
to the gymnasium.
when we toured the other facilities, their open gym was basically free play in the gym. You can come and do whatever in the gym. It wasn't an organized thing.
What was there to do in the gym during open gym?
Basketball, pickleball, whatever their room,
So if someone wanted to come up
Right.
and set up a pickleball net for
Correct.
open gym, they could.
or the kids would just be kicking balls around or
Well, that was my question.
walking the gym.
Open gym for adults or open gym for kids?
Yeah,
This survey was taken by everybody. So this open gym was, people thought adults were doing.
yeah.
Kids didn't fill out the survey, so,
Open gym,
but parents did.
Right.
yeah, it was just like a free for all in the gym. You can go and do whatever you wanted to do.
I think if you did an open night, I think you'd want to like 6:30 to 7:30, open gym for ages so-and-so to so-and-so, and then do the older kids and then the adults that's kind of the way Cactova would do it when they did their open night. Of course, that's a Arctic village, where there's nothing to do outdoors in the winter time, so they would do it different age groups at different times for an open gym night once.
So what I'm foreseeing happening is, I'm curious if it would happen. Someone gets there early and says, we're gonna set up pickleball nets, and it becomes pickleball play. And so a kid coming in and wanting to play basketball doesn't get to because someone else got there first to set up the pickleball. So how do you navigate that?
I don't see how you can. You're going to have to, if you're gonna have an open gym, you can only have things that they can do. You can't-
That don't
don't
monopolize
require-
the space.
Yeah. You can't have volleyball and pickleball going on at the same time.
Right.
I guess you just need bigger paddles.
Yeah, it just depends on what's the space, like
Tom's willing to lead that class.
one of the places we visited, their gym was so wide that they had basketball going on, 2 pickleball games going on. Somebody was walking the gym, there was some kids playing with a red rubber ball. I mean, it's just because they had a huge gymnasium.
Maybe
But
we'll
with
have to
the-
look
you
at
just have
rules
to
of,
set the rules for what open gym is.
Is there room for one pickleball court to be half
yeah.
court, one half of the court?
So you could, there's a curtain that divides the gym. So you
Right.
could have a pickleball net set up, the curtains out, and then half court basketball happening on the other side. Or, if kids wanted to pull out gymnastics mats, or I don't know. I mean,
That's open gym.
I could see that. I could see having a rule that no more than one activity, in an open gym night. I mean, no more than one activity. In other words, one pickleball could go, but not 2 pickleballs on an open gym night, because that would take the whole gym, right? For just pickleball, but there'd be no versatility.
yeah. It's interesting because we don't know what the demand is gonna be
Or you
yet.
just-
And so
Or you
we,
include Pickleball in open gym. You don't have it during open gym. Open gym is basketball, walking, and
Yeah,
simple stuff.
You could
You
get,
just don't do it during.
I do think we're gonna have to set parameters on pickleball, like we only play if the weather's bad, or you set, these hours and that's it.
Pickleball, and then you come or you don't.
well, and you gotta think about use and number of people using it. If you have 2 pickleball courts, even if they're playing doubles, that's 8 people, right? Whereas if you have, a volleyball game going on, that's 12 people on just one court. Yeah, and
You'd have to have a club volleyball team. The school doesn't have a volleyball team.
There used to be pickup volleyball on weeknights a decade ago, but it kind of fizzled. The other thing we might be able to do with the software that we have is you might be able to check into Open Gym and reserve something. So I don't know if it's technically Open Gym anymore if you do that, but you could say, we're gonna borrow or check out the pickleball net for 30 minutes, and it kind of blocks out your Open Gym. So you can see what people are planning to go do. I don't know.
What is the, excuse me? What is the priority?
I knew you were gonna ask like a mission vision question. I don't
I
know.
mean, is it the service? There'll be a member, I'm assuming there'll be a membership fee
Yes.
for you, okay. So is the service or the programming focused on providing services or generating revenue?
There's a balance, right? Because it can't be like 100% subsidized facility and staffing and
No.
just a drain on the budget. So I think council is going to need to decide at this next budget workshop what they want the cost recovery to be, and that will drive some of that answer. But I would like to know that we're providing a space for healthy, safe activities for the youth of the community first and foremost, and then all community members as well.
also. uh, my prejudice is if there's Camp Marlin or a summer camp program, that is top priority in terms of scheduling.
Yeah,
Because the kids need a change in places during the day, especially. if-
right. Yeah, they can't be in the multipurpose room all day.
Right,
That's kind of their home base.
yes,
But they have access to aquatics now that they didn't have without van transportation. They have access to our nature trails now. There's disc golf, there's the baseball fields, there's outdoor basketball. They're gonna have so much more at their fingertips than when they were at the school. So it's exciting to see that new component in our youth programs and the accessibility that we have.
yeah, even there's tons of stuff. Our experience was there was a lot of programs that could be scheduled on weekends for kids. Like, not only basketball, volleyball. We did, polo soccer, we did, floor hockey, and they were signed up. These were 4 to 6 week Saturday sessions for kids. And we were able to keep, just a lot of kids having a lot of different opportunities to do things. So that's why I'm asking if it's, if it's adult generated or focused, or if it's more of a service to families, kids.
I'd like to see it well balanced. I'd like, when we look at the schedule of everyone we're serving,
Yeah.
I'd like to see, to make sure that we're covering everybody as much as possible.
Sure.
It's a lot.
I know open gym is fun to walk into a gym and do something, but it just creates so many problems unless you say, okay, we're gonna have an hour open gym at this time on Saturday.
Yeah.
And we have
I like the age breakdown too. Like there was an example of a gym that did little dribblers. And so it was like a preschool program that was all different types of balls, and they let them wander around and kick and throw and,
Yes.
just, be preschoolers and explore. And so, I think that might be a good way to, one, draw in different demographics and then be able to tailor it to what their needs are. Is it a low impact cardio? Is it, discovery and, motor skills? I mean,
Right.
And you could dictate what setup each open gym night. You could say, okay, it's open gym night. And we have one pickleball court set up this time. Okay, next week we're gonna do one volleyball court. You could actually dictate what gets set up instead of letting it just happen too.
Yeah.
Is an option as long as you're rotating through. Volleyball used to be a really big thing in Port Aransas, as big as softball at one point I think we had 14.
yeah, I think I moved here
teams.
just at the tail end of it.
Yeah, it was so much fun. But it was kind of a shame to see. I'm not sure exactly what happened.
Well, it's like you get a passionate person who's willing to coordinate something and it grows. And then once that person moves on or doesn't do it anymore, if there's not a successor, it's when it fades. And so that's why I like these folks who have come out of the community and said, I want to host, martial arts. I want to host this and this and this. It's like, I want to capitalize on that energy and the fact that you want to do it. And maybe we let it, live out its lifespan, and it either builds and grows or it fades and then we move on to something else. So, but I think utilizing the people in the community with those skill sets and passions is going to drive a lot of the programming, like capitalize on what we have. And there's been times where there's a demand for something like a preschool dance class, but the instructor component is missing. So figuring that out is always a challenge as well. But I think to start and kind of, instead of just having a blank slate, to start with the players that we have who have been expressed willingness to participate, I think that's probably
I
the
think
best way forward.
I think the outside basketball court will pick up a lot of the open gym. If they would play in the gym, but it's not gonna disrupt their play to go outside if there's too many people. I think that outside court would pick up. It was busy all the time when it was,
Mhm.
there wouldn't be a lot of people on it, but they're, you know, late at night there'd be few.
Yeah.
I know you know that. Yeah. Yeah. I don't understand it. I don't particularly care. Basketball, but
That's, we're all different and that's what makes the world go around. Okay, let's keep getting through these survey results. I don't know that we need to, public Wi-Fi is one that was a priority. We did talk with audiovisual. I've got mapped out where all the security cameras are gonna go, where all the keypads are gonna go, where all the displays are going to be. When I say displays, I mean flat screen TVs, but you're not supposed to call them that for some reason. Projectors, yeah, all of that's been mapped out. NCS is the contractor that provides that for all of our new facilities. So they're working on all the nitty gritty details and the costs of everything. It's expensive. Very expensive. I don't have a place for table tennis. I don't know. It was mildly important. I don't know how to rank it, but several people said that it was important. Board games there's space for in the game room. I don't have a shuffleboard table. I don't have table tennis, air hockey, or pool table. Those are things that I opted for more versatile spaces as opposed to using up that real estate for one thing.
self-taught.
And you know, and the thing about, I was reading, I went through the survey and I was thinking, yeah, some of those items just get bad. You know, they're, you know, in that kind of use. You know, there's people that play pool and don't know how to play, that damage the pool table. They're, the air hockey, it's so violent how hard.
It's loud. There's only 2 players at a
It's
time.
loud, they go flying into the air all the time. And I think it is, I guess, it is an activity, but it's, yeah, I think the more active activities, I think we should encourage, I think.
That's also talking about active activities. So the esports and gaming is huge in Parks and Rec. It's a new frontier of what a lot of parks departments are doing. I come from the environmental education, get kids outside, get them away from screens background. And so that's my default is like they have enough screen time at home. They don't need to come to the rec center for more screen time, but it's a little bit dated thinking and the new, you know, fun, cool things that might get people who wouldn't come to the rec center to come to the rec center. It could be like a gateway to say, you know, come play, you know, this video game in the room. And so I'm just putting it out there. I see you shaking your head and I totally agree. As a mom, I totally agree. But everyone feels the same way as me. All right, so when
They want to call it the inactivities.
I know.
They're on an island.
But it's not just video games, it's interactive video games.
So there are video games where so there's a social component, right? There's kids that maybe wouldn't talk to anybody who then are now socially interacting with other people. And there's games where it's looking at your body movement. So you're fake running or fake swinging or,
Making more like full
so there are active versions of video games.
and
There's also games where you're just on a controller and you're playing football on the screen.
like that, you know, running
And you know,
Okay.
those things.
Kind of sure you can get a folding, table that
We
folds.
have, that's our board table in our office right now. Is one of those.
So when you move into your new office, we
can
already
put
have
it
a.
in. We do have a table tennis table.
Table tennis,
It's a little
when I
warm.
was running camps, you could not build a table strong enough. Because the kids, they'll take their paddle and when they're nervous, they'll just be hanging on it like this. We eventually just poured them out of concrete.
They make those now. They make cornhole boards. They make table tennis. There's this crazy soccer game where it's like table tennis with the corners bent down and you kick the ball onto the ping pong table. But we could, so there's some real estate outside of the rec center where we could incorporate some cement things.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Let me write that down.
Some table tennis.
Of course, I like using croquet balls for dodgeball. It's much more.
Remind me not to let Tom supervise open gym. Okay, let's keep rolling because there's a lot to talk about. Programming, cooking classes, art classes, educational programs, entertainment like live music, movies and shows, personal training and gymnastics all kind of ranked the same. Aquatics fitness, I think this is a tell on who did the survey. I think a lot of the water aerobics ladies did the survey. Basketball, volleyball, pickle leagues. I think that's a way to address scheduling and blocking use that, you know, we have this competitive pickleball hour where you come in and maybe you get to open play on the outdoor courts, but if you want to, you know, be in the big leagues, we bring you inside for an hour or something like that. Swim lessons, programs for people with special needs. That's not something we try and be inclusive. We try to, you know, make our programs as accommodating as we can for all individuals. But if you have ideas on specifically hosting for participants with special needs, I'd be interested to hear what you have on that. Aerial fitness, not super important, which is good. I don't think we ended up reinforcing the ceiling of the group fitness room for that. Martial arts, kind of important. Aerobics, kind of important. Spin cycling, kind of important. I have talked with the guy providing the exercise equipment for the equipment area, and we can put like a dozen spin bikes in the group exercise room. There's enough room to park them. It wasn't a super high demand, and those are expensive, so that might be something we phase in later, unless I haven't been approached by a spin instructor or anyone that's like begging for spin class, so that might be something that we grow into that isn't available right away, but we have the capacity for it.
Both Pilates machines. So,
Those take up a lot of real estate. They're expensive. If the demand was there and we figured out like folding ones that could be pushed out of the way, I love Pilates personally. But I'd need to know that we had an instructor and we'd probably have to charge extra for it to cover the cost, which that's how, I mean, Pilates classes everywhere are always more expensive than everything else. But I would love to go to a Pilates class. Maybe we get like 4 foldable reformers and have semi-private classes or something like that. No. Okay, so the majority, like I said, I think a lot of the participants that did this survey were water aerobics lady. Well, I guess not 285 of them. We were gauging, the next slide is childcare needs. And so the majority, 78% of the survey respondents did not need childcare. 30% needed after school care. Only 4, I'm sorry, I'm getting my numbers mixed up. 30 of the respondents needed after school care, 14 before school care, 60 needed camps, 50 wanted babysitting. So that's like the child watch area that we've identified.
It's a child watch where somebody's using the facilities and they just want
Yeah.
place for their.
So the rules for that are, it has to be less than 2 hours and you have to stay on the premise for us to watch a child. And so we're going to need to identify who then is too old for child watch. Do we take 10-year-olds and 6-month-olds? There's rules about how many of each age we can take, but we need to kind of define who's allowed to be in the rec center without a parent. What age are you? At the pool, it's 12. Who are we expecting to stay in? Yeah, who are we expecting to stay in child watch versus, you know, be able to go to the gym and the exercise room, and those will need to be defined.
A lot of, well, like in the workout room, there's an easy way to get hurt if they're too young and not don't, have any. Maybe we make some rules where they have to take some kind of training, before they, but I think even 12 is. Well, there's some big 12-year-olds, I don't know, but
I was envisioning when somebody joins as a member, they would have a little bit of a tour or orientation from our front desk attendants where they would be walked around. Here's the restrooms, here's our locker rooms. We offer family changing rooms on the deck. This is how you operate the showers. This is how you operate in the exercise room. Here's how to turn on the treadmill, like any information they need as an orientation. In the beginning, when we're getting a lot of members all at once, we might need to think about how that is gonna happen, but if you've ever joined a gym, I'm envisioning that same process. You go, you sign up, you get a little bit of a tutorial, a welcome, and then we kind of let them do their own thing. But yeah, we need to set the parameters on
how old they
ages.
have to come to the pool by yourself?
12.
So I think that should be the minimum. And then it may be different for different parts. I don't know, and you're gonna have to set some parameters, because I mean, you're 12-year-old just walking into a yoga session. Would that be okay, or would that not be okay?
Depends on the 12-year-old.
I know, and I know some wandering pretty.
Right, so you've got this game room. So the other thing is the visibility from the front desk has been considered in this space. And so there's a glass wall in the game room, so you can see from the front desk into the game room. You can see who's gone into the child watch. You can look down the corridor and see if kids are going from multipurpose room to restroom. You can see the exercise facility. And then the gym has a glass corner also that they could technically kind of look and see if anybody's in the gym. The walking track will be a blind spot, but everywhere will also have security cameras that are viewable from a monitor behind the front desk. So what they can't physically see with their own eyes, they can look at a monitor and see, oh, Jimmy's up there in the corner trying to start a fire on the walking track or whatever.
Is the walking track elevated?
It's a second story above the gym with open railings.
And you said the
See-
walking track, so
It's 2 lanes.
you won't be allowed to run on it?
You can run on it, I think. I think there's a run lane and a walk lane.
Okay,
I don't know why it's called a walking track.
so that's fine.
Move at your own pace track.
Yeah.
All right. I have a marine science degree, if anybody forgot. Like, this is a huge learning curve. And so that's why I'm so glad to have a parks board and folks in the community who are excited about this, because it's drinking from a water hose. Okay, let's go to the next one. So again, I want to talk about priority populations, and I think we covered that a little bit. My goal, I want to serve as many people as we possibly can, keeping the community members in mind. We want our programming to have first priority as opposed to out of town fishing tournament or something like that. Balancing the structured program schedule versus open use. I think we've defined that as by the space and maybe age group. And then thinking about who's delivering these programs. I think so far what we've discussed has been, we've had city staff or contractors in mind, but we can also utilize partners in youth basketball is huge in this community. So are they coordinating an open gym hour for us, or is pickleball creating their own league, or who I don't have to staff everything. We can also utilize different community groups and provide the space and place and allow others to organize. So that's something worth noting. I hope everybody's okay. Sorry.
You may want to add a staffing fee for certain events and activities. And it might be appropriate, might help pay for some of it, and I would say.
Can you give me an example of what you mean? Like you host, like you're coming to. You wanna host a wooden boat festival in the gymnasium, and if you want an attendant to be there, you pay a fee, is that? My,
No, well, I'm trying to think, I was thinking just athletic stuff, but you know, if it's, if there's equipment being used and there's possibilities where people just need to be kind of watched, you know, just for safety concern. Coached, and maybe it might be a better term, that, and I'm not exactly sure what specific activities that we relate to, but just.
so like an out of town volleyball tournament wants to come in, but we have to set up the standards and hook up the scoreboard and
Right.
check people in at the front desk, there's
Usually-
a fee associated with
Exactly.
that. Yes, I do think there will be a rental fee designated for every space in the facility.
And I think also because there's gonna be a lot of push and pull that first year, and you're not sure how it's gonna work. You know, as far as what is gonna work and what's not gonna work. You may also wanna have a limitation on how far in the future they can book a room. And also how many times they book. Like if they say we want it every Friday for the next 3 months or something like that, that may. You know what I'm saying, is that to prevent
Right.
monopolizing something that might be a good thing. You may want to give them more time, but initially you might want to have a maximum amount of rentals that they can sign up for at one time.
Yeah, I just in having to share community spaces around Port A, that has always become like, oh, well, we can't have trunk or treat that night because that's Wooden Boat Festival, or there's certain things where it's like every year it happens at the same time, no matter what the demand for that program is. And so it almost. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know how to explain it better than that specific example, but I don't know what the limit is, like how far. Sylvia allows basically after you have the event that year, you get to book the next year. And that might change for, this space and all the things that are going on here. So we could use other facilities in the community as a guideline, because the community center will be rentable and this will be rentable. So maybe we set a citywide standard.
Right now, it's 30 days out. Is our current rental.
No, I'm talking about booking ahead of time. So you can book the community center for next Christmas.
Oh,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
see
Like,
what you're saying. We don't have, there's nothing right now.
yeah, how far out can you book something and how many
It's
times?
usually like, once you posted it, you can.
Right,
Yeah, and I'm not saying that should be necessarily a permanent thing, but it seems like that we're kind of watching the first year or two of things, what works and what doesn't work, and that would give you flexibility. But if you've already booked something numerous times and it turns out not to be such a good thing, you've got all these other bookings, multiple bookings for that same thing.
yeah. All right. I pulled up the gym to show you there's 2 volleyball courts, 2 pickleball courts, the half courts and the full court with the divider curtain. So that's a close up of what's going on with the gym floor and all the lines.
So the divider goes vertically.
Yep.
Well, the lines, we always look the same. Are the two, what the length of the court is?
It's 94 feet this way. It's the
Right,
basketball.
94 on the big court, on the smaller courts. I can't see
Mm,
The half court?
the half courts.
it's a full NCAA size court.
Okay.
Is there something that you're thinking of wanting to fit?
Half court. Maybe not.
Oh.
I have these plans digitally. They're very hard to share because they're so massive, but I could take screenshots and email you, or you can come in the office and we can zoom in.
So, I'm sorry, is there, so you have 2 volleyball courts,
Yes,
you have a. Like if, let's say you have a volleyball tournament. And then you get down to the championship game, is there a court that is
I don't think so.
perpendicular to those?
I think it's just the two half.
Those are the smaller rectangles that are lengthwise.
Yeah, not to be
That's what
confused
we-
with the pickleball that are slightly longer and narrower.
Oh, maybe I am confused.
It's hard when they're all the same color. In the gym floor, they'll be different colors. So the volleyball and pickleball nets are the same standards.
I wonder if
They have
pickleball will
three
ever become less
pickleball courts
popular.
on
It sure
Oh,
became
look,
popular.
you're
except
right. There
it's-
are 3 pickleball. I told that guy too. Yeah.
there are
Well,
three.
There are 3 on there, 'cause the pickleball courts.
Yeah, you're right.
Wide, and a basketball court is 96, 94, 96 feet.
Well, that's news to me.
Yeah.
There's one pickleball court dead center.
Okay. Oh, I see, yeah.
So there will be no dividers between the pickleball.
And if you had any 2 going, you would not be able to play basketball, or could you play 2 pickleballs and 1 basketball?
Mm-mm, because
goes
it
into-
overlaps. This
That's
is
what I
the
thought.
pickleball right here.
Okay.
So it goes into the key.
Oh, yeah. It might just have to be happy with 2.
Well, the contractors are gonna do 3 if the plans say 3, unless we tell them to change it. I told the pickleball guy too. Cause I was mistaken. He speaks for the pickleballs. Just- He's just a player that came in that was passionate about indoor pickleball. All right. This is the gym equipment layout. There's a weird half circle in the middle center section. We're not doing that. It's a tire flip. It's like half a tire. I think it's too specialized. And so we swapped that out for, I think, I can't remember what we swapped it out for, but we're not doing the tire flip. Other than that, everything else is the same. One of the things that I did talk with the equipment provider about, when Karen Decker Fitness was still around, it was a big concern of hers to not have too many free weights at our facility because that was her bread and butter. But now she's closed, and so the fitness equipment provider thinks we still have enough free weights in here to keep people happy with the proportions of use that he sees traditionally in different, he supplies equipment for gyms everywhere. But if you had any feedback on this space, it can,
I would love to talk more about the.
Okay.
Cause I see what's worked out on that, 2 different gyms. You know,
Okay.
it was, here.
pretty much the only thing that can't be changed is the layout for the treadmill locations because there's electrical provided, but everything else can kind of float around and be relocated. But that front line against the windows, it's gonna look out at the pool. That's those need to stay there. If it requires a plug, that's where they're gonna be.
And that's the nice thing about free weights, just most of that stuff is, you just got weight racks, and then the most important thing is to have enough benches.
Mm.
And that a lot of people like adjustable benches because they're like different angles, but. I don't know how many benches you have planned.
There's 2.
2 is 2, and I would say you'd want at least 4.
So there's a Smith machine and a half rack, 2 half racks at the planned south wall. And then there's bid benches, it says 5 each. I don't know what that means. Pre-core bid bench 5 each is 15. There's only 2 on there.
Maybe there's room for more.
I wonder why they say 5 each. And then 14 is a multi-station, so that's like cables. And 13 is a leg press, 12 is a seated leg curl, 11 leg extension, 10 shoulder press, 9 chest press. So that's kind of something that could be like a circuit. There's
Yeah.
rowers. The air runner is like the Peloton curved runner that isn't motorized. And that, I think that there would be room for another if we got rid of the tire flip. There's upright bikes, 2 upright bikes, 2 recumbent bikes, 2 stair climbers, 2 ellipticals, and 4 treadmills in this plan.
I hope
The next slide is a rendering of what the space would look like.
Oh,
Other spaces like the mats, like warming up and stuff, or it's all like the hardwood floor.
That's a corridor that goes out to the pool on the wooden part of the floor. And then the space to the right is the lobby. So if you want mats, smaller free weights, yoga balls, I think that's all going to be in group exercise, and it'll be open as long as a class isn't going on.
So if you wanted to stretch out or do like crunches or some stuff.
Yeah, the door will just be open, yeah.
What about a hyperextension? Is that was it's the ones that, that you kind of lay, you like your back of your legs and you kind of lay at a 45-degree
We could
angle.
put that where the tire flip is.
It's a good machine. It's really good for
Lower
adding
back.
traction to your back.
Yeah.
Yeah, lower back. Yeah.
All right.
To me, it's a must.
Okay.
I don't need to join the gym if they don't have it.
Okay.
Not that I'm saying. It is. I
Saying
think
you're
it's
not
important.
coming to my gym. I get it. It's fine. Cliff.
I get on one every day. Actually, I own one because I bought.
We're gonna get you one of those flip upside down things too for your back. We'll put that under the stairs.
Like the pad under. Actually, I tried that one time where I flipped completely.
I don't think they're
upside
that good for you.
down, and actually, it hurt when I stood back up. It was painful.
They're pretty extreme. Okay. So the next one is the group exercise floor plan. So there's a little vestibule. This is kind of for a sound barrier. So if, Zumba is rocking in group exercise, they're not rocking out the whole facility. There's a little double door situation going on. There's going to be a large display screen on Plan West, so on the left-hand side there. And so if somebody wanted to follow, Jane Fonda's classic workouts, we could put it up on a screen and an exercise class could be had that way. An instructor can also be, situated in the class. The parking spot that I said could be for spin bikes would be at Plan North, the top part of that, like the next to the vestibule. There's space there to park things, store things, racks for yoga mats, free weights. And then there's a big storage room too. So that number 124 to the right, that is all that other exercise equipment, BOSU balls and whatever anyone requests, can go in there.
Staff go in and get it for them. Or they
I think
just go in?
I'm hoping to allow people to be responsible and to take it in and out. It probably could be locked down if it becomes an issue, but I'd like to, so I was a member of the gym on North Padre for a while, and it's just kind of quiet and casual. There's the group exercise room, there's free weights, there's yoga balls, there's mats on the wall. You go in there, you do your group, floor routine or whatever you want to do. And there's not I mean, we could have a checkout process if stuff's getting used and abused or going missing. We could put parameters into safeguard, but I would like to think that there's enough visibility in the space and checks with, the front desk and,
You'd have a little digital sign in, sign out, or even just a.
so there will be like a membership scan card. But yeah, if you have to get an attendant to check out something, you can't. I mean, we could do that, but I was hoping to not have to.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Or they,
Yeah, we'll have to do room checks. That's gonna be something that the front desk attendants and maybe the lifeguards that are not actively guarding are going and doing room checks and counts. Walking the facility looking for, areas that need to be cleaned up or dusted or whatever. So that's gonna be a new kind of development for us to have to work through how we staff that.
I will say, no matter what gym I belong to, there's always people that move stuff around and leave stuff out.
Oh, yeah. And don't wipe stuff down or,
Yeah, and that's the thing you're gonna wanna have, like wiping stations,
Yeah.
to make it easy for people to.
I don't know if the dust in a gym just accumulates faster or if the gyms I belong to just weren't very clean, but like every time I've been at any gym, I always find the equipment just disgusting. And so I would hope that we can stay on top of with custodial visits that will come through from the custodial team for the city on top of the attendants and lifeguards that we have at our space. I'm hoping that it is very well maintained and stays very clean. That's important to me. Okay, what else we got going on? Multi-purpose rooms are next. So this is the room that can be divided into three, kind of the home base for youth programming. There's a large display on Plan West. Again, that left-hand side has a big screen. And then I'm asking for blocking on the south wall. There's technically three different rooms, right? So if you rented the center one for a birthday party on a Saturday, I want to be able to put up a slideshow of my grandma or whatever. So I want displays because grandma birthday parties are real popular here. I don't know. There's a cabinetry and counter space and a mini sink in each one of those rooms. And so I'd like a display. So depending on budget, it may just be the blocking for one at this point, but my plan is to have 3 small screens and then 1 big screen. So hypothetically, if we ever did grow into someplace that wanted to do esports or gaming, a space could be rented and you could have 3 different video games happening and on the big screen. And so the room could also someday be utilized for that. There's an open pass-through window to the kitchen, and that kitchen can be used as a teaching space as well. But it'll be snack prep, lunches, stuff for youth programming for the most part. Restrooms across the hall, and then there's a fire door that you can close. So if for some reason we did not want our kids accessing the public or vice versa, this space can be totally self-contained to where just youth programming is happening here and the public can access the kids.
And that's the 3 rooms. The
Multi-purpose rooms are
The
top
kitchen.
left, kitchen,
And the bathrooms.
bathroom, and then a big storage space again, because
And
the one thing we heard from all the Parks and Rec departments about their rec centers is there's never enough storage. So we've got some pretty big storage spaces.
But the fire doors would be like the far right.
I'm trying to see where they are on this plan. I think they're before the lifeguard corridor, so I think they're right on the corner of the kitchen. If I can see them on.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, the space can be closed down. All right. So the next survey we were looking at how much would the average member pay for, or how much would the average survey taker pay for fitness? And so this is interesting because it's different than, let me back this up. In a typical year, how much money does your household spend per month on recreation, sports, fitness activities, including membership and registration fees? So the majority of people spent $200 a month on these expenses. When you go to a later question on about what would you be willing to pay for a membership, they were very different.
I just read a year, and they put $200 a year.
You think people only spend $200 a year on? So at least 50 of these survey participants were parents, because when they said they needed after school care, there was like 50 people who said that. So it's not. Oh. But I'm trying to get to the slide that talks about.
And gym memberships are, they vary greatly,
Yeah.
depending on what is offered for that membership and what you. Yeah, I mean, do you want to have a member, I think you might have like a tiered membership,
Yes.
you know, and then, you know, like basic membership, just get you in. But not to any special programs, you have to pay extra for those.
Yeah, drop classes, just if you wanna drop in and do Pilates or whatever.
Yeah, or you're joining a club, like a youth class. So that's, I was looking for the next slide, and it's the average monthly fee that people felt like they would be willing to pay is between $35 and $44.
It's nothing.
User fee,
it's
so I
not-
guess it would imply per person. So I wanted to get your feedback on that number, and then looking at if you were going to have a family package, what would the family price be? Would you like to see a resident fee different than a visitor fee? I wanted some guidance and feedback from you guys on those things.
I would think a resident fee, you'd want that at. And then you might have a special fee for Winter Texans. And you would have. It's like if you come in here and you're only gonna be here for a week, you might have a. One like that, I mean.
Like a
if you get-
visitor.
You're getting a non-resident fishing license, you can get it for a day or for,
Yeah. Kind
and
of
it's expensive.
No, and I think, well, you can also do like. You know, if it's somebody that's gonna wanna come in, rent pickleball courts regularly. You know, you can say, okay, it's gonna be a little more than basic. But that entitles you to, you know, so many. Reservations per month or so, I'm not sure exactly. how-
I would envision breaking apart like user benefits, which would be like the equipment and game room and group exercise room, like base level access to the pool. That's what's covered under your membership fee. And then if you're reserving a space, that would be like a facility reservation. It's not included in your membership, although members maybe get a discount on their facility reservation.
Yeah, for like the group classes, I would like to see that. If I'm a member, I would like to pay less to join the Pilates class than someone who's not a member. Someone already paying a lot to.
Well, so does every group exercise class, do you get access to that, or you get a discounted rate to attend?
I think.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, and maybe even the pool, the basic doesn't include pools an add-on. Because it's really two separate facilities, I mean, some people have members of the pool, I just pay for a visit.
But for me, as a family, I wouldn't pay for my child to be a member then if they can't use the pool, because they can't use the workout equipment, there'd be no reason for me to register my children. Right, what could they do? I would just like do like drop-in fees for.
Unless
I
after
think-
school care becomes a membership, which recently the parents may not have noticed, but the way we are billing for after school care in our software, it's looking at it as if it's a membership to after school care now, so I don't know if that's something we would want to roll in. They're different revenue pots, so probably not.
It becomes an accounting nightmare, right?
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, when you start trying to have all of these different options. Yeah, I'm thinking when we went up for 3 months in Oregon last fall. So we joined, first time I joined it was at the river. So we just, I mean, it was an initiation fee and so much a month. So we knew we were gonna be there 3 months. And then if you wanted to take, there were some classes that were included in that, if you, and like a Pilates, that Pilates was extra, right? If you're gonna be here for a week and you're a winter Texan and you wanna use it, and you can go into almost any fitness center and buy a pass, a pass. All right, and so that gives you access to the equipment room and things you wanna use in terms of adult, in terms of the kids. Most fitness centers, now this is not a fitness center, this is a recreation center, right? Right. So if it's a family fee, then the family has access to those programs, but you still have to pay a fee if you're going to be a part of a 6-week martial arts class. It's not included just in the membership. The membership
Right.
fees get you the open gym, maybe access to the pool,
The weight room.
the weight room, right? And again, for the members, you could have a discount for the kids, for the programs the kids participate in, and try to make it just as simple as possible. And not give so many different conditions.
In that, do you agree with the $35 to $44 a person?
No. That's, so when I was, of course, all the gyms that I've been a member of, except for one for a short time that had a punch card, didn't have pools. So, you know, when I was Murphy's, it was $100 a quarter. So it's $25 a month, but that's very small, no air conditioning, very minimal gym. Up in Kerrville, I'm on to Taylor Fitness. It's a pretty nice gym. Plenty of room, plenty of space, a lot of machines, and no pool. It's $28 a month. And then I think if you go, I've got the basic membership that's paid by my Medicare for Planet Fitness. And I think if you get the black card thing, I think that's $28 a month, no pool. So, you know. So I think, you know, if you went, if it'd have to be more, if you're gonna include.
Yeah,
$100 for family, so the kids are discounted. I think, like I probably want to pay $40 for Charlotte to use the pool a couple times a month. I would just pay the $2 fee or whatever. Are we still gonna do that like a day pass?
There will be a
Separately?
drop-in fee and then we have to decide so we'll have new locker rooms, new family changing rooms, new on-deck showers, there will be new cabanas. So does that warrant charging more to get into the pool?
More than what $30.
$2 to get into the pool right now.
Right, but
Unless you go for 65, it's $1,
Then it's $1. Kids and seniors, $1.
yeah,
which is incredibly reasonable.
Charge a little more than $2, but
Like $3 and $5 or like $7 and $10. And you guys don't have to set the exact prices. This is for me to say to council at the budget workshop when we have to set the new fee schedule. Parks Board felt
right.
whatever this consensus is, like that we could charge more for entry than. And ultimately, council is the deciding factor. So if that council decides, no, we want to keep it at $2, that's what they'll keep it at, and then they'll decide whether they want to subsidize this more or not. So we're really just looking for your generalities, we don't have to get down to the dollar amount. But we feel like the 35 to 44 range, you're agreeing with the survey participants, and then you'd like to see discounted rates for children, discounted group family rates. Members get a discount on reservations and class attendance. Anything else that we want to include from those takeaways? Okay, I think I got
I
it.
think though, we have to remember that it is a publicly owned facility. And not a private facility. I think the public has a right to get a discount because they're.
Their taxes paid for it.
Right.
So does that go back to a resident versus visitor?
Well, it may not be it would be a property owner.
Yeah, you have a lot of second homeowners who helped pay for that facility too.
Most.
Yeah,
How about like someone with their RV coming down for a couple months? No, they don't count. No.
So the winter Texans, we consider them seasonal residents, like when we did the open space master plan. And they are not property owners and they're not paying hot tax.
Okay.
They're just,
Okay, yeah, so they can pay the higher rate.
Yes.
but will they come if the rate is higher is the other thing. You have folks that are on fixed incomes that are very cognizant of
Right.
what a class fee costs, so. But they are the most active too. They fill up our classes, and so
Yeah.
we have to find the balance.
So I think
And-
if you put in where they get a discount for those, they get if their membership was similar in some way to the residents, but they had to,
if you did an age
Senior
discount,
discount.
senior discount, that would kind of help cover the. Because I know that, and that's one of the reasons why I was thinking, if the pool was a little bit separate from the facility and the
right,
fees, because some winter Texans are very religious about going to the water aerobics. There's a whole group of them
yes.
that are there all the time, but then there's
But
some
there's
that
year
will
round.
never get in the pool.
Yeah, water aerobics specifically, we do have year round participation.
And they're only gonna
That's
be
true.
paying for the months that they're here. They're not, it's not like.
We could run statistics too, because this year we did up our fees a little bit. And we could look at what the average winter Texan participant is paying to participate in our program. So usually they do more than one thing. They're gonna come to line dancing and
Right.
drumming and water aerobics or whatever. And so we could look at a little sample set of, 10 to 20 winter Texans and kind of see what their average expenditure was for the season while they were here. There are some that come to every single thing.
Right.
When I print out their bill, I'm like, they supported us a lot. And there's others that just do their one thing and that's all they want to do. So,
And a lot of the winter Texans, are not just visitors. They really kind of integrate into the community
yeah.
and they help out, they volunteer,
Yeah.
and
we have way better luck recruiting volunteers in the winter time than any
Right.
other time
And
because they want to be a part of the community. That's why the open space planner considered them seasonal residents because they are more than just a vacationer. Yeah. Okay, so that was a big one on the to-do list. The next few slides get into stuff we've kind of already covered, like who are we catering to? Are we trying to do any cost recovery? I think that's more of a city council question. And then how do we compare to similar programs around us? And we touched upon that with different membership fees. The next.
it's cost recovery, a concern of the city have they mentioned it?
So
Cause we did that extra additional tax, right?
there's an additional venue tax, but it is not for the rec center. It's for the civic center and community center.
Okay,
Yeah. So I don't have my head wrapped around, is this going to be funded through RDC? Is this tapping into general fund? Is this, that stuff we need to hash out at the next council meeting, at the next council budget workshop? I presented this info to them, at the last budget workshop. Actually, Ray presented it because I was out, but, it got into, I think it estimated like a user fees at a 12% cost recovery, at estimating the operating cost of the facilities at 2.4 million a year. And so doing some cost recovery, I don't know if I put it in here or not. Here we go. If you skip to the slide that says fees and policy framework on the top, there's a small white table. That one. So this one gets into cost recovery a little bit. Like if you were to have 352 members pay $35 a month, the revenue from the membership would be $211,250, giving you a 25% cost recovery. So there's a different scale based on, you know, what you're charging. $70 a month, $106 a month, $141 a month.
And when you rent out places like, you know, I know it's very popular to rent out the pool for birthday parties and events. Because it's really just no brainer. It's a quick, easy deal. It's affordable and.
Back up 2 slides. There we go. So this is rental revenue. I know it's hard to read, I'm sorry. But like a multi-purpose room, if you rented it at $75 for the hour, which I'd say that's probably high based on what the city charges for other spaces, and you rented it 6 hours a week, so that might be an evening for 2 hours and a birthday party on a weekend for 4 hours or something, it's around $312 hours a year, and that brings in $23,000 in revenue. So you can supplement some of those membership, like the cost recovery doesn't have to be all in memberships. It can be in rental revenue, it can be in sponsorships, it could be in cost sharing, fitness instruction with different classes. I mean, there's different ways to do it. I was thinking about sponsorships on the walking track in the gymnasium, like the art center has those acrylic fish on the outside of the building where you can buy a fish and then your family's name is displayed. The church does bricks, the community center does bricks, or the museum does bricks. So we could get creative, and if people wanted to contribute, and
The aquarium does the acrylic fish too.
yeah. Mhm.
It's pretty cool the way they do it.
Yeah, so we could, it's a space, it's a lot of wall space there, so we could get creative if we wanted to solicit funds for something like that as well. And then, so this is where you get into balancing, like out of town tournaments, so it's tempting to do things like that so that you do bring in revenue, because those could be like weekend tournaments and bigger athletic events could be real revenue generators, but we don't want to do that so often that the community programming suffers for it, because that's what we've been struggling with for the last 10 years or more than 10 years. That's my history here. But it's like, we don't want to get bumped for a fishing tournament or a wedding or whatever. We want to have a designated space so our community always has the activities that we want to host. So we'll have to be careful of that, because I know the demand will be there, and so we'll have to stand strong on our scheduling ahead of time and our programming so that we don't get booked out of our own space.
But if you had a designated, you know, tournament, say a basketball tournament, a volleyball tournament, you know, the Port Aransas holiday basketball tournament for a specific age group, and you know, annually it's going to be, and it becomes a big event and a good revenue source at a time when maybe it's not at high use. You know,
Well, and if it fits the mission, right? Like, is it a healthy, you know, active community-based event?
right.
Or are we, you know, hosting a coin show for you know, the sake of renting out the space, you know, if it's
Right.
mission driven and it feeds, you know, what we're here for, then. You know, that could weigh in too.
Yes.
Cool. All right. My slide order has kind of digressed into chaos here. Do you have any opinion on cost recovery that you would want me to share with council if they're looking for guidance? Do we say, is there a standard or something you'd like to see? A target that we're aiming for? You don't have to weigh in at all, but if you have an opinion, I want to be able to share
It all kind of depends on the city budget and the council probably has all the tools and
Yeah.
knowledge to make those decisions. I think we'd be kind of blind to, I think we want the cost recovery to affect the fee scheduling is,
it.
As least as
much we can
possible.
afford.
yeah, exactly. But at the same time, we don't want it to implode because,
Oh, that would, yeah. Who did that? Somebody built an aquatics facility that ended up getting shut down right away. We don't want to do that. Okay. Hours of operation. So this is another big one. The survey results said, it looks like Monday through Saturday are the popular days, and early morning, mid-morning are the most popular times, with late afternoon and evening kind of trailing. In the middle of the day is the lull where nobody's really available or wanting to use the space. So the majority of surveyed wanted to come more than twice a week. 62% of them indicated that. 17% was almost daily. So the folks who are wanting to participate multiple times, if not every day. So I have some options laid out on the next slide. And these are just examples on what could be done scheduling wise. Weekdays, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Weekends, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. This is a lot of access with higher staffing needs. Slightly reduced accessibility would be 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Weekends, 9 to 4. And then there's some rec centers that got really creative and did like split shifts, so they avoid that lull in the middle. I think that lull could be used for restocking, cleaning, you know, lunch breaks. Yeah. So I don't necessarily think we need to like totally close during the lunch hour, because I know there's working people who like to, you know, get in a little workout too. But how early do you think is reasonable? How late do you think is reasonable?
I like the late option personally.
You're more inclined to go on the later hours as opposed to the early hours.
Yeah.
There was someone on the survey that like left a comment that was like, I need 4 a.m.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But especially if like, we're gonna do a lot of like the children's martial arts and all that classes.
After
It
school
would be
type
nice to have
stuff.
like a later class for adults, like 7 to 8 or whatever.
The earliest thing we do now, this pool opens at 7 a.m. for lap swim in the summer. So we haven't done anything at 6 a.m. The polar plunge is probably the earliest program.
I think 7 is a good start time. There's some people who like to do stuff at 6. You could knock them out of the way, but and they probably would not need a whole lot. Those people probably know what they're doing, knock it out, and don't need a whole lot of instruction or direction, but I think 7 is.
Well, too, if your weekdays, if you open at 6, doesn't mean your program has to start at 6. They can use the gym and stuff, and your programming can.
Yeah,
start
we'd
at
have to
7.
stop with front desk attendees.
Right.
Yeah, I think this, but you're saying you like the 8 o'clock. So 7 to 8 would be like kind of in between.
Like my lifestyle right now, I either work out at 5 AM or 8, 9 PM. Because of having young kids.
Yeah.
So like 6 AM isn't early enough for me to come in and work out and shower and get to work on time.
When I was,
So
when I
might
had
as well
kids,
7.
when I had kids, I didn't get to the gym till 9 o'clock a lot of times at night. So it's,
But you'd have to have staffing at 5 AM, you'd have to have staffing to watch the kids, right?
Not necessarily.
Well, they're usually still sleeping in my husband's home, so I like sneak away and do a workout.
Yeah.
But I know that's not reasonable I wouldn't expect a rec center to be open that early. I mean, there are a lot of fitness centers right now that run 24-hour programs.
Like Whataburger. It's my.
That is not a fitness program.
you know, it's tough. It seems like, I guess you have to think about who the support staff is. And I wonder if
Yeah, so that's the other thing is getting staff to show up at
Yeah,
these hours.
that's true.
It's easier to start with the limited hours and expand if you need it.
Yeah.
Rather than open with extended hours, and you have a few people that come in and you have to go tell them, well, we're gonna. We're not gonna open till an hour later from now.
It's too bad you can't just like, we close it a shorter time than maybe reopen. It'd be great to have like a late night, just.
That's what
adults.
I think about is like that late night thing. That
Like-
8 seems early to me, but staffing that late is gonna be a challenge, so open to guidance.
I wonder if we could get if some of that staffing could be done with volunteers that are trained.
Well, I thought about if it was a serious enough security system, like Karen Decker was just letting people come in and out, but it's very scary to me to do something like that in a brand new facility where one bad egg really could make a big mess.
Right, most definitely.
I think starting with fewer hours and then adding it to them as if we need to be better, but I do like the idea of a late shift. Where it could close down. Or to go down to a very low staff.
How late?
I don't know. I mean, 9 o'clock's late for me.
When do
7
you-
AM to 10 PM.
Can you have like key card access just?
Well,
in
you
part
could
of
also
the weight
do
room?
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 days a week are late nights, like
Sure, try it out,
Right.
see if you
the
get
late
involved.
folks, you could get their 3 workouts in or whatever.
We're gonna test it out, see if anyone comes to that.
Yeah, that's true. You don't have to do
Every
it every.
member who joins will poll their availability and then build a schedule based on who's paid to get in. Cause that's the other thing is like, so I'm basing all this decision making off these survey participants who, are they even going to buy a
Right.
membership? Like, it's all kind of a guessing science here.
And I guess when they sign up, you could do a short polling form where just like, what hours do you think you will be using the facilities? What facilities will be using, maybe you might get an update on the data that way, and just like, even if it's just 5 questions, so just something real quick that just would give you a little hint into hours of use and what things they would be using. That might help.
If you were looking at shift work, 7 AM to 3 PM and a 3 PM to 10 is like 2 equal employee shifts where there'd be a shift change mid-afternoon. All right, well, I have kind of what our okay, so that's weeknights. What about weekends? Do you have any feedback on weekend schedules?
I think, weekends you should do
Well, I would like,
8 to 4.
well, the pool would be nice to be open till at least 5 on weekends, especially in summer, longer preferably, but.
That's right, see, that's,
Typically, the pool, because of the lighter hours, the pool's open till 6, and then typically, historically, there's been birthday parties continuously, so the staffing is working late all summer long.
And maybe that will be more of a time for like events, people renting out the gymnasium for pickleball tournaments and stuff, and they wanna go later.
So that's the other thing to think about is pool hours versus rec center hours versus like child watch hours. The facilities I've seen so far, child watch is not open every hour of the day. They have set times like 10 to 2 on Saturdays and 4 to 7 on weeknights, or like there's
so it's not a
certain
continuous
times.
drop off. They have to do the workout
Well,
during.
and
Yeah,
yeah, I guess there would be maybe some stay-at-home moms or something that might want to work out at a middle of the day hour, but most like working, I think it would cater to working parents for the most part.
Well, that makes sense. That would cut your costs a little bit.
Because that can really build up, because if you have infants and different age children, there's staffing, like you can only have 2 infants under 1 person, and there's like a lot of
yeah,
risk
that
for
gets
that.
real sticky.
So,
I'm trying to think, my daughter, they had a thing called Kids Club at her rec center, community-based rec center, and I wanna say that they only took kids who were pre-K and older.
For kids club.
Nothing, no, yeah, so kind of the thinking is these kids, they're just new pre-Kers, but at least they're in a structured program somewhere, possibly school. And really be in school, but
And potty trained.
potty trained, right?
Well, I know, like I joined Freedom Fitness in Corpus, and they have child watch, and they took 6 months and up. And it was such a relief for me to go get to do something for myself. And they did not change diapers. So because there's a 2-hour time limit, if they had your phone number and if the child needed attention, they would just text or call you to come back to the child watch area. So I think they played with the babies and they sat in bouncer chairs and there was TV screens on, and it was just like a really welcome break, and especially because there is no infant care in Port Aransas right now.
Right.
So I would hate to totally eliminate that,
Yeah,
because it is something we're lacking.
that's gonna require more staffing. Is there?
Yeah, there will be limits to it, so there will,
Because-
if there's already 2 infants in there, the employee is gonna have to say we're at capacity, you're gonna have to come back in 30 minutes when this one's done or whatever. We'll see if it even I mean, it might not even be a thing, but hypothetically run through a lot of different scenarios. Okay, so this slide, I'm sorry, it's so small, but this breaks down potential schedules for all of the different services happening. So in the aquatic center, we've got lap swim, fitness classes, swim lessons, open swim, swim team practice, and it breaks it down hypothetically from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., how everything would be scheduled Mondays through Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Same thing with the gym. If you were going to hypothetically schedule out the gym, you've got pick up basketball, after school care, being able to use it, youth sports league, and then open rec leagues scheduled from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. The multi-purpose rooms, it's got senior programs, enrichment programs, after school care, arts, crafts, clubs, different youth programs, and community meetings or rentals, birthday parties. That's going from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then the group exercise room, the fitness studio, it's just an example schedule of like a HIIT class, yoga, Pilates, stretching, dance, kickboxing, yoga from 6 a.m. all the way to 9 p.m. So this is just like a hypothetical if we were to program everything out.
So you're gonna have to have staff, so those schedules really don't fit with that last slide where we're looking at potential open hours. Because they all exceed all the choices.
Well, I wrote down that we were looking at 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So it does fit with that based on what you guys were telling me.
Well, these are 6 a.m.
Oh, yeah. And in the pool, it's missing camp. There's not a camp hour in there. This is all just like AI helped me generate hypotheticals. This isn't what it, needs to be. It's just a starting the conversation point.
It's a good, yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
conversation starter.
Yeah, and I guess, you could, the amount of staffing could vary, like, if you have to be open to 6 for some of the, because you got swimming or going on, then, you could have a minimal amount of staff in the building. Because almost everybody be in the pool and that would have a full staff.
But I mean, according to this, all happening at the same time, there's adult pickup basketball and senior programs going on in the multipurpose room and a HIIT class going on in group exercise. Like if we did everything on here, the
Mhm.
whole facility would be utilized every hour of the day. Which realistically, I don't know that there would be enough attendance to do all those things, but
Mhm.
this is if you were to kind of schedule out the max capacity of the building.
Which it may get there, you never know. It's-
The fitness studio, I see those being contract instructors. The gym stuff is like volunteer league coordinators. So the only thing I also thought about, or not the only thing I thought about, something I thought about was when is everyone checking in for all these things? Because I don't need a whole basketball team, aquatics class and aerobics class all trying to check in at the front desk. So I need to like stagger things by 15 minutes, 30 minutes to try and control traffic flow as
Right.
well. So that's
and what
another
would check-in
factor.
look like? Would they have a card they would scan?
Most likely, yeah. But like at the pool, there's lots of people that buy pool passes, but there's lots of visitors that don't have it. And so they have to give all their information. So one of the other things I'm looking at right now is we use the rec desk, forday.recdesk.com to manage all of our facilities and programming and registration. And it can be a little bit clunky on the front end when you're first joining. And so I'm looking at other software. There's one that specifically works with the finance software that we have here. So I'm waiting to hear more on it. But if there's a possibility of switching to a more efficient onboarding and software program, I think this is the time to do it with the opening of a new facility. So
Maybe,
I'm also investigating that.
yeah, it'd be great if there was a way that coordinators could do a pre-check for a whole group before they come in. Might save some time too. I'm not sure what that look like.
Well, you pre-register for a class, which like getting the water aerobics people to do this, they're stuck. And if they've been coming for a long time, they're not pre-registering. They're going to show up and they're going to expect you to register them. And like, there's just some old behaviors that haven't come onto the new system yet. But, hypothetically, you could pre-register everybody for the aerobics class and the teacher could take attendance and then we're covered. Like they don't need to do anything at the front desk. So it'll be a process to streamline all that. Okay, this presentation could go on and on. I want to be respectful of your time. There really, really, really are. There's a slide on staffing expenses. This just talks about Positions I'd like to see brought in that I'm gonna ask council for, an assistant director for myself and a recreation manager. That would be somebody that focuses on the sports and the exercise science of the facility. So who's going to give the orientation or the personal training on the exercise equipment? Who's going to organize the basketball tournament that wants to go on the weekend? Like a sports person, because that
Mhm.
isn't necessarily what we have on our team already. 3 front desk attendants at part-time and 3 at full-time. These guys are answering phones, they're checking in new members, they're checking on the different areas of the facility, watching security monitors, things like that. And then contract instructors, and then child watch is incorporated in there too. Those are all new positions that we don't currently have. Next slide just covers that same information. Hey, I think this is the last slide. Okay, so do we feel like we discussed programming priorities, need to be community members, need to be our youth, need to balance with winter Texans and visitors. We talked about preferred hours, we talked about fees, and I shared staffing needs with you. Do you have any other feedback or things that you would like to cover?
When will you start seeking staffing? I mean, because if they were, and will you start off with like a skeletal staff initially and or will you try it?
So I'm anticipating a budget being approved to spend in October. So I'll have gone to council and asked them for these positions. It'll get funded in October. We'll probably advertise. Maybe we'll even need to do like a job fair because this is a lot of positions at once. I anticipate construction ending end of the year, beginning of the year, and then we're gonna need time to move in and plan. And so in that time, I would hope to start staffing to handle the move, to handle programming, to give them prep time, to get it all set up. And then I would hope by spring break, we're open for programming. But with construction, I mean, there could always be a
Just the
curveball.
construction is expected to finish by December.
Yeah, then we
you
have
still
to
to-
furnish it, then we have to, you know, get everything up and running.
And do you have to, it's like construction, does that include like the backboards for the, you know, the
Athletic
Horsepower?
equipment is included in the gym. What's not included is like office furniture, exercise equipment. You know,
that makes sense, stuff that's not.
paper towels, toilet paper, all that stuff. The holders will be there, but it includes a lot. And then, so the other thing is the IT side of things. So all the networking, cabling, displays, internet, speakers, all that stuff. That'll happen after construction is done, and so that could take some time. This contractor runs pathways, but doesn't run the wiring and the everything else.
That seemed to take a little longer for the police department building than,
Well, theirs is like a little bit more serious than ours, but
Yeah.
yeah. Key cards, all that stuff. Some of the doors will be key carded and some of them will be physical locks. We didn't do key cards on every single door. I think that's the discussion item. If you want to go back to the,
No,
Agenda.
I step out. That was my question about how quickly you can get support by hiring the rec center director.
we really don't have space for anybody else right now. So I think I have to wait at least until the building is built before bringing in more full timers.
Okay.
And so that's where I think there's gonna be this like window of time where, yes, there's a building there, but we're not totally operational yet.
Well, sure, I understand that.
And so I don't know how long, optimistically, I'm hoping 3 months, but
Prior to.
I'm guesstimating. Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah, these.
yeah. And then we've got to time it with like, when is a good break to switch after school care or. So I think, I mean, spring break, it would be nice, but
And how do they get from school to there?
So
Will
that's
you
another,
bus them or will the parents take them?
the idea is it's after school care because parents are working, so
Yeah, that's
we
right.
need to provide the transportation. Worst case scenario, we're taking flights of vans. Best case scenario, we're using a school bus and we have a driver. The driver is the limiting factor right now. The school is struggles to have available bus drivers. And so I was hoping that it would be considered like a bus route. And so kids that live down Ross Avenue, they would hop on the bus and get on with the rest of the rec center kids, but they
Yeah.
have not agreed to that at this point. So
Yeah.
they're asking me to provide a driver at this point.
Really? It seems like the school district could provide a little more support to that. Since it's the students, I mean, it's. And
Yeah.
both parties are concerned about the students and student safety and getting them from point A to point B where they're gonna be cared for. So seems like a no-brainer that the school district wouldn't want to partner on that.
They have a bus that comes down, in Channel Vista.
Yeah.
All of the kids that go to after school care can jump on the bus and, I mean, it's one block from the,
Yeah, I was hoping we would just be treated like another bus stop,
yeah.
Yeah,
but that commitment hasn't been made yet.
You can talk to them.
yeah, who can we put a little pressure on? We need to talk to,
Your
Sharon?
school board represents you, I think, right?
that's true.
That's right. School Health Advisory Committee,
Talk about healthy option.
yeah, no kidding.
It would simplify things so much, and they already are running a transportation facility for the students.
Yeah, I don't know what the logistics of, like, I don't know how many kids are already on that Channel Vista bus, and so if they only have room for 20. That doesn't really help me. My after school care program has 50. Like, so there's gonna need to be some give and take. We're gonna have to sit
Yeah.
down and figure it out.
And a bus, are the buses 50 passenger buses?
I've been told there's buses, but not drivers. That's the shortfall, is the drivers. So sending somebody to a CDL class is not the easiest thing. It's expensive and it's very time consuming. It takes a long time to get your passenger CDL. So when we're hiring, that could be something that we're looking at, is we're trying to recruit somebody that has that already, or we recruit somebody ahead of time so we can send them to the
Yeah.
CDL training. There's also, the city employs RTA bus drivers, and so I just feel like there's a piece of the puzzle there that maybe could get figured out. I know we have a community member on the RTA board, and so the puzzle pieces are there, we just have to get them in order. Yeah,
You know, a couple people in
we need
school.
to adjourn, I think.
Hey?
Yeah.
See. It's officially, I have to get it, and, any board member comments or items for further discussions and consideration. So, I mean, this is what you, the result of discussions we've had today, you'll take to the council, or will we have time?
When is our next scheduled? June. We don't meet again until June, so that might fall right before the budget workshop. So there will be still time to add to this, and then any other items like lights at the pickleball and skate park. Or any other items like that you would want to see budgeted next fiscal year, staffing. Fees,
Okay.
all those things. We have a little bit of time before. It's officially submitted to council. With one more meeting.
Motion to adjourn,
I'll make that motion.
comments,
I'll second it.
Cliff second. I don't know if a motion to adjourn is not. Seconded, accepted, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Sounds
no
good.
voting on it.
No voting.
Thank you. I know this was a long
Thank you.
one and we talked about a lot. Appreciate you all.
Just keep it at light, Thomas.
Keep the croquet